What it is, what they do, this is Orion, aka Brass Balls, your hip-hop aficionado, bringing you a deep dive top 5 episode for y'all from one of my favorite MCs, from actually the group that I hold near and dear to my heart, Wu-Tang, and he goes by the name of Method Man. And part of the reason I'm doing this is because this Saturday, Fort Lauderdale at Chemistry, Method Man will be live. It's gonna be a real dope event, and I'm gonna just put this out there to all my peoples. If you're thinking about going, yo, another reason to go, support your boy. Orion will be on stage with my dog DJ Exes, so come check us out. We're gonna be opening for the legendary Method Man out of the now recently inducted Hall of Fame group Wu-Tang. You feel me? So y'all need to come out. What this deep dive top 5 is gonna tackle are the 5 tracks in hip-hop that I feel did the best job in sampling Method Man's voice. And you know how we do in hip-hop, we get a sample, we get a chop, we cut it up, and it's part of the hook, you feel me? And that's what they did with these 5 tracks that I'm gonna cover today. I think these are the 5 standout tracks that sampled Method Man's voice. Method Man has a very distinct voice, and there's actually a lot of records out there that have sampled Method Man's voice in order to use it for a hook. So let's get into this top 5 right quick. At number 5, we got an underground stellar joint from a producer known as the Herbalizer. If you're a hip-hop head and you're always looking for beats like I am, you definitely have run into the Herbalizer's material. And one of his early beats was a track called Styles. And what he did was he took a chop from Method Man's PLO style, the part where he says Styles, and freaked it over his beat. Go check that out if you're an MC. That's definitely one to bust a couple of rhymes to. At number 4, now check this out. This might be a little controversial, but this track was one of the better joints off of their debut and only album that these brothers ever put out. And I'm talking about First Platoon, the title track of the album. The album was called Connected, and the joint was actually produced by DJ Khaled when he was going by Novocaine or Beats Novocaine. And that's a dope, stellar joint off the album, worth checking out. First Platoon, Connected. You might have to go on YouTube for that. But as always, if you're peeping this on my YouTube channel, description box, I got links to everything I'm talking about. So I just make it easier for y'all, you feel me? At number 3, this one is actually a really dope banger joint. It defines almost the era that it came out in, I feel. Ski Beats is the one that produced it, and I'm talking about the Fat Joe song, John Blaze. Now, the one curious factor for me on this track is that it's a posse cut. You got this track with Fat Joe, Big Pun, Nas, Jadakiss, and Raekwon, but no Method Man. And the hook is Method Man saying his AKA, which is John Blaze. And I just wondered, why didn't y'all get Method Man on this track? And maybe they felt it was enough to have him on the hook. But that's the kind of voice that Method Man had, and the reason that people would always get these type of chops. But anyways, this is a really dope joint. If you know, you know. Don Cartagena, that's the album it was featured on. Go do the knowledge if you don't know. I'm putting you up on game. That's what I do here. At number 2, now this one is a little controversial as well. This is not really a sample. He didn't sample Method Man, but he definitely interpolated Method Man's lyrics. And I'm talking about Tupac, a song called No More Pain. And don't get it confused with the other Tupac song, which I happen to love as well, called Pain, that was off of the Above the Rim soundtrack. Now, this is called No More Pain, and it was on All Eyes on Me. What basically Pac did was take the opening lines from Bring the Pain, but did it Pac style. I came to bring the pain, hardcore from the brain. Let's go inside my astral plane. Now that's something that a lot of people weren't really doing, you know. That's kind of like almost close to biting, if you will. And I remember me as the woo head that I was, when I heard that, I really didn't like it, man. I was just like, what is this? But what made up for me on that Tupac album, All Eyes on Me, is that he did have Method Man on I Got My Mind Made Up. So I was kind of like, I'm not too mad at it, because at the very least, you still put meth on your album to a certain degree. And the reason this gets number 2 is because of the caliber artist that I respect Tupac to be, because for him to acknowledge Method Man in that light, I think it's kind of crazy, especially at a moment in time where the East-West Coast thing was supposedly popping off. You know, that was a lot of media hype to a certain extent, and here was one of the most dominant West Coast artists, and he's quoting an East Coast MC who defined the East Coast sound, especially in the mid-90s and late 90s even, you feel me? Now, before we get into the number one spot, there are some honorable mentions, if you will. And I'm gonna drop this shameless plug for a track I got with my dog, DJ Exes. We dropped it last year on 420, as a matter of fact. And it's a song called 40s and Blunts. Go check it out. It's on my YouTube description box. You'll get a link for that. We sampled Method Man on the hook. You know, niggas came through with 40s and Blunts. Feel me? We had to use that and drop it in there. Shout out to my dog, Steven DR. He did the beat. He goes by Doctor. Got a lot of dope beats for y'all to go check out. You know, check them out on the tag to this video, and then also description box. I'm gonna drop these links for y'all. And then the other honorable mention I want to give is the great Special Ed. When he dropped the album in the mid-90s, he had a song called Rukus, and that sampled Method Man's voice. And also Naughty by Nature had a song called Connected, where they sampled Method Man off of The What from Biggie's album Ready to Die. And actually, I forgot to mention it earlier, but first Platoon, what they sampled from Method Man was from that same Biggie song, The What, off of the classic Ready to Die. Now at the number one spot, and if you ahead and you know, if you real and you know who the number one spot is gonna go to, and that's Gangstarr. DJ Premier, Guru, Moment of Truth, 1997 to 1998, this album drops, and this was the lead single. They sampled Method Man saying, you know my steez, off of GZA's Shadowboxing. Memorable line, and even more memorable once DJ Premier put his hands on it, cut it up, and made it what it is. So that's my top 5 deep dive. That's what we doing right here. Orion, aka Brass Balls. Shout out to the Belly Boys. Shout out to Heron. Everybody involved with the Method Man show, April 25th. Make sure you come out. Go get your tickets. It's at Chemistry, Fort Lauderdale. Method Man is one of the standout performers in hip hop, so I'm definitely looking forward to seeing my hero on stage do his thing. You feel me? With that said, I'm out. Peace.